What's up everyone, Sam and Dan here, back with another Guitar Talk video. We've been having so much fun going through and doing these, and it gives us a great excuse to whip out some of our guitars and just talk about what they're all about, the stories, and this one is definitely one that's going to be packed with stories. I recognised it as soon as Dan bought this one out because...
Sort of.
But I knew Dan in like what feels like a past life when we used to be in bands and stuff like that and we were playing, and I totally remember him playing a guitar just like this, but I had no idea that it was the one. So I'm ready to dive into this. We've got a Schecter. Let's go, Dan. Tell me a little bit about this beast.
So this is a Solo 6 Custom that I got back in, it was around 2011. And this was back when I used to play in bands where like it was really heavy, dirty rock music and like drop B and all that kind of stuff. And I was playing like Les Pauls and everything. And I've always said, I wish I was a Les Paul man, but I just can't get on with Gibson Les Pauls. I don't know what it is, but I was working in a guitar shop. We got one of these in, the non-custom version, and I loved it. It just felt right. So I ordered the custom version for myself, and this turned up, and it was so good that I sold the two Gibson Les Pauls I had because I just preferred playing this.
It's wild, really. Like, I'm looking at it now, and like even the carving on the knobs, and then you've got the sort of speed grippy bit, lock and tuners, sort of split parallelogram style inlays. It's like well luxurious. How much would these have been back in the day?
Oh man, I think they're around like $899, somewhere around £1,000, like just shy of £1,000. But yeah, they're awesome. And as well, it's that little known thing, if you've never done it, where this is the Schecter and it's the custom one with the binding and everything, if you get a Les Paul custom,
yeah,
and you put the headstocks together, they fit.
It's awesome. I tell you what, this is back in an era, right, where like Schecter and Court were basically building guitars for under $1,000 that were just like ridiculous, really.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, and I did so many gigs with this guitar, so many recordings and gigs that it was my number one guitar at the time. I absolutely loved it. It came with some Seymour Duncans in it. At the time, I swapped them out. It was when I first got into bare knuckle pickups, and I put a set of bare knuckle aftermaths in there. It was either aftermaths or painkillers that I put in there. One of the two might have been painkillers, but it was...
What's in it now, by the way?
DiMarzio
cool.
Anniversary Paths.
Oh, that's some of my favourite pickups.
Yeah, so this guitar, I was playing it in, the band was called My Story, and we gigged all over the place, just like big down-tuned sets, like I said, and this guitar just handled everything. And then that eventually ended. We went through loads of bass players, and amusingly, we had a few drummer issues with just drummers in lots and lots of bands. And funnily enough, the drummer that's now in your band came to us and just said, guys, I've just joined a band that's got gigs every weekend, a function band, so can't gig anymore. I'd still like to turn up and jam in the weeks, but gigging's out of the question for me now. And I was like, I can't be bothered with this. So I moved forward with the cover band I was in at the time, just doing some functions and stuff, and I ended up with my PRS Custom 22 that became my new number one guitar, and I ended up selling this. I sold it to...
When do you think that was?
That would have been around 20... So here's the thing. I sold it to G, who works here, who was in my band.
Yeah.
Towards the end when we were doing our last recordings.
Yeah.
And I think he used it on our last EP that we recorded.
It's got to be like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I just, like, I can't get rid of it. I want it back. So he sold it back to me. And then I had it for a few years afterwards. And because I was using my PRS all the time, I sold this to the guitarist in the cover band. And he put some horrible pickups in.
Right.
He had a neighbour that did guitar setups. It was always like, oh, give me 200 quid, I'll hot rod your guitar. And like, the guitarist in the cover band was a, let's just say, elderly gentleman, absolutely lovely, but just wasn't into pickups and all that kind of stuff. So if you said to him, I'm going to hot rod your guitar, he'd trust, like, you're going to hot rod my guitar. And the guy put in, and I know there's a lot of fans out there of these pickups, but he took out the bare knuckles that were in there and he put in a Tone Rider neck P90,
Right.
and then a Skytronic by Kent Armstrong in the bridge, which is like, you can pick
bit of a
this up
downgrade from a set of bare knuckles.
Yeah, they're like,
no
you
matter
can pick
what
them up
you're
for
into.
25 quid.
Yeah.
And charged him like 200 quid to hot rod it or whatever. And eventually the guitarist said to me, like, you know, do you want to buy it back? I'm not getting on with it. Do you want to buy it back? And I was like, I can't keep buying it, selling it, buying it and selling it. So he sold it to someone. I had no idea who. He sold it, and instantly I was just filled with regret. That guitar was my main guitar for so many years. Why didn't I buy it back? Even if I wasn't going to use it, why didn't I buy it back? It's gone forever. And over the years, I've just thought about this guitar and wondered where it was and what was going on with it. And one day I was talking to G about guitars and like rose tinted glasses and stuff. Like I said to him,
The one that got away.
yeah, I still think about that Schecter that I had, and was it as good as what I thought it was? And he was like, oh, it's up for sale it's on Facebook for sale. And I was like, what, the one? And he was like, yeah, the one. I was like, are you sure it's the one? He's like, yeah, because it's still got those pickups in that guy put in it.
Right.
So I was like, right, okay. So I looked on Facebook and it was up for sale for like $4.99. And I was looking at it just going, shall I buy it? Shall I buy it? Well, you know, it's my, well, this is the thing. I was like, shall I get it? You know, it's 500 quid. It's not exactly just like pocket money. What if it's not as good as I remember? And I thought about it for weeks and weeks. And then I thought, nah, I'm not going to get it. And then it disappeared from Facebook. And I was like, you idiot. You should have got it. And then about 4 weeks later, I was doing some shopping for Guitar Gear Giveaway on Guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And this was in the used section for $3.99.
So the person probably just traded it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just on Guitar for like £100 less than he was selling it for anyway. So I called my partner up and just said, look, don't kill me, but I'm just about to buy a guitar, so there's going to be another guitar turning up at the house this week. And she was like, why are you buying this? And I explained, and she was like, I'll buy it for you as a birthday present. So she got this for me as a birthday present, and yeah, so now I can never get rid of it, because obviously she got it, and it came with those awful pickups in. And the funny thing is, me and G had been talking about, because we did all these, like, this band years ago, before like camera phones and all that kind of stuff was really a thing. So there's no video footage, there's no nothing for the era that we were in this band. We were talking about going back and recording all of our old songs to the highest quality that we could record them, and I was like, this is great, I can record them with the actual guitar. So obviously I took out those horrible pickups and put these DiMarzio anniversary paths in, which I think are the same ones that were in one of the very early Guitar Talk reviews I did, was for a 7-string K7 Ibanez Korn signature, and the pickups in that sounded huge, and they were DiMarzio Path Pros. So I was just like, hey, let's get some, put it in, and get this ready for some down-tuned riffage. So it is now strung back up where she used to be, with some 60 gauge strings on in drop B, ready to rock.
So the question really is was it as good as you remembered?
It definitely is. Like, you look at the grain of mahogany on the back of it.
It's
Like,
nice.
I know it's not like a one-piece, like, I think it's a 3-piece back,
Yeah,
but
it's well good joins though.
the mahogany that they've used, it's got good
heavy?
weight to it. It's reassuring.
Oh, it's not bad. No, considering this, it's not a small guitar.
Yeah.
It's pretty big, and it's like it's got a lot of meat up here and stuff.
Yeah, ebony fretboard.
The frets look nice.
Yeah.
Inlays are super cool. Like
Lock-in
veneer on
tuners.
the headstock too. Yeah, lock-in tuners. It's
Mahogany they've
it is
used
a
on the
comfortable
neck as well.
actually. Yeah, it is a comfortable neck, and all that access, whatever
Yeah.
these buttons do up here, who knows? But yeah. Yeah, certainly like, well, it's lighter than like a Les Paul Custom or something.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, at the time, I always used to say, I like the way that the neck tapers round when you get up here for like higher end access. And I always used to say it was better than my Gibsons I had. And then Gibson, obviously, in later years, have come out with the
Well, the moderns and
Yeah, they've got the same
access
thing.
and, like, yeah.
the same thing that you play on a Les Paul and go, this isn't right. It's got no business being on a Les Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is my Schecter Solo 6 Custom. I recommend, if you can get hold of one of these to try it out, then I don't think you'll be disappointed.
No.
The only thing to get over is the crazy headstock.
Yeah, it's cool though. I like it. I think
Yeah.
it just looks really cool. Like, it doesn't look unnatural or anything. It's like a cool shape, and even the tuner buttons are nice. It is a quality guitar. It's like really nice looking piece.
Yeah, and I just can't believe I got it back.
I know. I'm glad that in this series of videos that we've done, we've both had a guitar that we've had to get back.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, just before we filmed this, Sam was like, is there anything that I need to know about this? And I was like, no, it was my main gigging guitar back in the day. And he was like, yeah, but it's not the one though, is it? It's not the one.
Because you sold that.
Yeah, you sold that. And I was like, no, it is the one. You're like, no, because didn't Kelly buy it for you? I was like, yeah, the one.
Yeah, I thought it was
the
just
one.
I thought it was just a one. I thought it was just like you were just reminiscing and just thought, oh, I'll buy one again because we're going to do this recording. I didn't realise it was the one.
Yeah, it was the
so
actual
cool.
one. I've got a photo of it in your old studio.
So I hunted down my PRS. You've hunted down this, and Andy's always talking about hunting down that. What is it, the gunslinger or whatever.
He
it
had a
is.
BC Rich gunslinger
Yeah.
from the 80s that he got rid of like really
And
early
really
in his
regret.
life.
So
and-
he needs to find that to complete the trio of hunting down. We won't count G because he buys and sells so many guitars. He could just do that every single week.
Yeah. You know what? The great thing about your PRS and this is they both got set necks, because the thing I said to Andy when he said, here's pictures of my old gunslinger, I was like, yeah, but if you go on eBay, look how many old gunslinger necks and bodies there are where they've just been stripped for parts.
Yeah.
Whereas you can't do that with this. So good luck, Andy, in tracking down the gunslinger or what remains of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to get stuck into recording with it.
Amazing. So a few takeaway points then. If you buy a guitar when you're younger and it has some story, don't sell it. Or if you do, then find a way to get it back, because we've both come full circle like nearly 10 years later and needed to find them again. And Schecter make some pretty damn awesome guitars.
Yeah, I know they've got the reputation for being like a metal company for metal guitars and all that kind of stuff, but this is just an absolute classic rock machine and just riff machine. And well, it's funny, I say they've got the reputation for being a metal company when I'm about to record some stuff in drop B with this bad boy.
It'd be perfect for it, man.
Yeah, but yeah, love this guitar. Absolutely missed it. So glad I got it back. And yeah, the memories with this thing of all the great gigs I did. Absolutely love it.
Well, the one that got away has returned.
Yep.
No doubt there'll be more tales like this in the future. We're going to keep these coming. This is a series we're going to be having ongoing for a long time now, just because it's fun for us just to whip out some guitars. And it can kind of never end, right? Because we just keep buying more guitars. So every time we buy more guitars, we've got more guitars to do videos about. So it's a great evergreen series.
Yeah, there you go. So when Kelly's like, why have you bought another guitar? I'll be like, well, I ran out of guitars to do a video about, so.
Exactly.
Cool.
Amazing. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Hit the like, the subscribe, all the good stuff, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Lovely.
Boom.
Blimey.